No, clearly this isn't anything really new. Yeah, this is a 2022 Toyota 4Runner, and I decided what I think will be, or I decided to take it for another test drive again for probably the 8th or 9th time since this generation was launched for the 2010 model year, if only because it's a Toyota 4Runner. It is a legend, it is an icon, it's a feel-good truck. The Toyota trucks as a whole, at least the generation up until, say, the latest Tundra arrived very recently, all these vehicles they stand out because they stand the test of time. That's the simple fact of the matter, is that they defy automotive logics, at least as far as timelines are concerned and life cycles. And yeah, I decided to take this for another week-long road test because I'm pretty damn sure that 2022-2023 will be the final years for this vehicle. Because it can't be. There's no way that this can go on for more than 14 years without any real changes. But you know what? I don't even think it needs that many changes going forward. The bones are sound. All this vehicle really needs is a powertrain, 3.5 liter hybrid engine. Okay, maybe just a 3.5 twin turbo. No, it has to be a hybrid. Real transmission, not an ECVT, and maybe a little bit of beefing up, updating the front end. Look, the point I'm trying to say is that the Toyota 4Runner could live on, in my opinion, with very limited physical changes, on the outside at least. On the inside, that's a slightly different story, and still maintain that image of being indestructible, unbelievably reliable, and just one of the best, most iconic off-roading vehicles, along with the Wrangler, available for sale in the world. Period. And I do mean it. And all the variants that exist in other markets of the 4Runner or the Hilux, the Tacoma and all of that. I'm sure someone at Nissan is kicking themselves for not having extended the life of the Xterra, because everything adventure, everything off-road is so hot right now, and more than likely will continue to be for many, many years to come. So, in the following review, as per the usual, we'll do a tour of this 2022 Toyota 4Runner. As you can see, it's not just any 4Runner. This is one of the main reasons why I opted, also the color. Yeah, I'll tell you about that in a second. One of the main reasons why I decided to take it for another spin. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm gonna go off-roading with this. Quite honestly, living in the city, that was the mirror. I have to drive out, not that far, but still far enough, and then get it cleaned, and it's very time consuming, but so many things, so many words, as always. So in the following review, we'll walk around, and then we'll take it on-road, because even the TRD Pro is probably gonna spend the very vast majority of its useful life on paved roads. Yeah, this is going to be a quick one too, because it looks like there's a massive storm coming my way as the wind builds. Okay, 2022 Toyota 4Runner pricing in the US starts at $38,105 for the base SR5. TRD Pro, $52,950. In Canada, pricing is a little bit different, but the trims are very, very similar. The Trail is the base one. It's $47,550. While the SR5, which is one trim up from the Trail, is $50,570. To it can be added one of 4 packages, namely the TRD Sport, TRD Off-Road, the Limited, and this baby right here, which adds a fairly substantial $14,980 to the $50,570 price tag, for a grand total of something like $62,000. Included in the base truck, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, 8-inch touchscreen display, 17-inch wheels, push button start, keyless entry, so on and so forth. TRD Pro adds a crawl control and multi-terrain. I'll show you the selector wheels in the headliner right ahead of the sunroof in a moment. It's got a locking rear diff, skid plates, unique 17-inch wheels, roof racks, Fox shocks, so on and so forth. These are the wheels, and they are to die for. Plain and simple. Hopefully this is gonna be a good shot if I can crawl down. Yes, there it is. Yeah, skid plates that say everything you need your truck. Well, the message you want to send to everyone else. The roof rack is just insane. And the only real issue once you step up to the TRD Pro and you pay the big bucks is that you only have 4 color options, including Lime Rush. Otherwise it's black, white, or gray, which is really boring, because in my mind, like an SR5 or anything well dressed has to be red. I don't know, I just have images of like a first generation 4Runner in red. It just kind of works. Now what I was saying about, you know, styling, if you wanted to update it for the future, I mean, everything about the rear is fine, absolutely fine. Maybe do a little bit of something about the front end, you know, just beef it up, make it look a little bit more chunky, sporty. I don't know, maybe not, maybe so, but it's on the end. Look, this thing is just stunning. I love the truck. I'm just saying things to fill in a video because the 4Runner is just, it's all but absolutely flawless. This is a real SUV, right? This is kind of like the SUV that means SUV. This is the definition of sport utility vehicle. 1,311 liters, 43.6 cubic feet or 46.3 cubic feet. This is enormous. Look at the width. The depth is amazing. It's fantastic. No power hatch despite $62,000. This is your lock. By the way, the rear window is power retracting up and down as per usual. There's plenty of room back here. I got another vehicle. Anyway, long story short, there's nothing really special going on, but there's some attention to detail, a red cross stitching or whatnot. As you get to the front, same thing. I mean, it's dated in the way it's presented, not necessarily the way it's equipped. I don't know, I don't want leather or sport tex or whatever in my TRD. I want some cool ass cloth. That's not quite what's going on here, but it doesn't necessarily matter. I had the camera setups for when driving. And let's start her up. The push started, that only was offered as standard on these trucks a couple years ago. I love the fan noise when this thing starts up. It's like a feel-good moment, I don't know, or it throws me back to a simpler time. Speaking of simpler times, simpler things I should say, HVAC controls could not be more straightforward. Could not be more straightforward. Same thing with the 8-inch display. I mean, this is like right out of 2012 or something like that. Everything about the graphics is old, but the functionality is superb. It's all there. It just all works. I mean, the only thing, I'm gonna stick it in reverse, is I'm not even sure what I'm watching there. It looks like some kind of science fiction movie from the 1950s. That is horrible, horrible, horrible. Beyond that, here's your shifter for the 4x4 system, which obviously is flawless, I suppose. Here's your rock control and your multi-terrain select. So that's your speeds for the rock control, and this is your multi-terrain select. When you do play with it, depending on the settings, it's not showing up right now because I'm still in park. But it all appears there. There's a 4.2 digital display. It's fine. The analog gauges look great. And the rain is coming down, obviously. Very standard Toyota steering wheel from so many years back, but look, it does the job. It's all fantastic. It's just great. Fit and finish in here is good. Everything is like chunky and kind of cheapish, but that's the definition of what this truck is. Not cheap, but just solid looking, right? Substantial. And that also shows in the way it drives. Visibility is okay until you get to about here. But I mean, the windshield is not quite upright like in a Wrangler, but it's pretty damn close. Anyhow, I think that's as far as we're gonna go. TRD, heated steering wheel. That's the switch for the rear glass, rear window. Storage is decent. All right, enough of that. Let's go for a drive. Yeah, she's a storming, all right. Just gonna put it in 4 high because I don't know, because I want to. pretend like I'm gonna do some mild off-roading on this just slightly rugged-ish area surface for some stupid reason other than to explain, not really show. I mean, I've taken 4Runners off-roading in the past, and the better equipped they are, the quicker you get stuck because you think you're invincible, and that absolutely applies here. Well, that was utterly pointless. It doesn't matter, because essentially, look, the 4Runner is about having fun. It's about enjoying the vestiges of the past. Is that the word I'm looking for? I don't know. Times were simpler, 12, 14 years ago when this thing was designed, and there's something just romantic and it almost brings a tear to my eye about this thing. The styling, it's not, I think last year I said something, or the year before, something about it being a little bit of an oaf, which it kind of is, but it really isn't. That's not fair. It's just a good truck, like a real truck. As I was saying, this is the definition. I hope the rain isn't too loud in my mic. Wow, okay. Oh yeah, there's one funny thing. There's no one flick, 3 clicks for the flashers. At least I didn't find it in the menu, which tells you how old this thing is. It's kind of a nice little screenshot, if you will, about the age of the 4Runner. But again, it doesn't matter. It still drives really, really well, and it's to do with the suspension, the TRD tuned suspension, the front coil springs, the Fox shocks. It actually rides very comfortably. I mean, there isn't a type of control you would normally expect from a modern vehicle, as far as controlling the weight transfers and the amplitude changes when you're going over slightly rougher stuff. But it's still just, it brings a smile to my face, and I absolutely love it for all of that. It's excellent. It's just plain excellent. Well, apparently there's an accident just up ahead. That's unfortunate. But the downside to this thing, and I kind of touched on it, it just really needs a more modern powertrain. I mean, the 4-liter V6 might be just about as invincible and unkillable and reliable. I love it how people have to watch what's going on. There's nothing going on. But despite its 270 horsepower at 5,600 RPM and 276 pound-feet of torque at 4,400 RPM, there isn't much going on when you put the hammer down. 5-speed automatic transmission. I'm quite certain that is the last and final of its kind available for sale as new in North America. But it's about, I don't want to say hanging on to the past, but it's about enjoying, I said it, the simpler things. I mean, the true downside, I kind of touched on it just now, is you might want a little bit more power, especially if you're, ever loaded. If you're ever loaded, I mean, with, say 3 other passengers that weigh 185, 200 pounds each, plus some gear in the back. Toyota says you'll average about 13.8 liters per 100 kilometers. There's no way. I mean, you're looking at 17, 18 if you're mildly, excited about putting the throttle down. But that would be the only real world penalty to it. I'm not trying to justify the 4Runner's existence as it is. I'm just trying to look at it with a reasonable, in reasonable terms. And I mean, the 4Runner isn't exactly the most reasonable purchase, but at the same time, resale values are typically really strong for these things, and they are robust and they are reliable. And I absolutely love this. And if you're shopping 4Runner, very much like if you're shopping for a Wrangler, that's where you're going. There are no substitutes to these trucks, SUVs, Wrangler, because this is where most of these vehicles spend their entire lives. And in the city, it's fine. It's just absolutely fine. Brake pedal response is good. It's, there's a little bit of travel, but you roll into it, you get used to it. Steering is surprisingly good. There's decent weight behind it. I mean, I haven't told you anything you didn't already know. If you do want to go off-roading with this, you select your crawl control, you play with your mud terrains, you go into 4-low, you can, access the rear locking differential, and off you go. Off you go. Yeah, 2022 Toyota 4Runner might be a 2023 to celebrate the 40th anniversary of the truck, but beyond that, that'll be it. We'll be looking at a whole new 4Runner, and based on what Toyota's done with the Sequoia and the Tundra, I think we're going to be okay, especially for Toyota truck lovers. That DNA, that image, I think it's going to remain intact. In fact, I'm pretty sure it will.